Thanks so much. It is Wednesday, and that means it is time to talk to our financial expert, Jeff Ivory. He is here with us right now. Jeff, you want to talk about something called a fiscal cliff.
Only because everybody else seems to want to talk about it.
Explain what that is, and let's get right into it.
I'm going to try and do this in really plain, clear English, okay? Because it's confusing, and I can understand why a lot of people out there are hearing this constantly. Day after the election, the market tanks, it's the fiscal cliff, all this stress. We've known about the fiscal cliff all year. In fact, we knew about the fiscal cliff last year in August when the House and the Senate and the President agreed to push off the debt ceiling debate through the year, through the end of the election, through the end of 2012, and then in January 2013, certain key items would hit. There would be cuts in defense. There would be a significant tax hike, and there would be certain Affordable Health Care Act programs that will add to some costs. And when you add it all up, it's about a 4.5% change in how money flows throughout the U.S. So if you think about that, imagine it's taking 4.5% of the U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, out of the picture, if you will. And when you're running right now at 1.5% growth in GDP, simple math will tell you that that leaves you in what they call a recession. And that's why they're calling it the fiscal cliff, and it's all this scary stuff. But we've known about this long since before the election, and we've known about it since last August. So it shouldn't really be a surprise. It's actually now getting closer and closer. And I think what may have been a surprise, or what people woke up the day after the election with, was the same group of people who created the fiscal cliff are still in power. You know, the president stayed the same, the Senate stayed the same, the House roughly stayed the same, nothing really changed. So I think that's where the market kind of woke up and said, oh, I wonder if they'll argue all the way until the 11th hour on this one now. So we'll see what that looks like.
So what do you think could happen? What's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario in this short amount of time before the year's up? You
know, I think that's a great question. I think for the viewers, I think the worst case scenario that you can look at is the status quo of what we've seen over the last couple of years, where the House and the Senate continue just to fight. The President and the House don't get along, and they just drag this out until the very last minute. What I don't see happening is status quo, as it stands today, won't happen. There's no appetite to cut defense at the extent that they've set it up. There's no appetite to allow the middle-class tax hikes to go away. In fact, I would actually argue that the Republicans and Democrats are not as far apart as it seems. But there are a couple of ideological issues, tax hikes for the wealthy and the sustainability of Social Security and Medicare. These issues aren't going away, and these are the issues that are still on the table for this discussion. My sense is on the worst case scenario, they wait till the last minute, uncertainty continues to unravel the markets for a while, and then they'll finally make a deal. On the best case scenario, grand bargain. You know, Simpson-Bowles comes back into play, and the politicians have an opportunity to redo what they had a great opportunity for a year and a half ago, which is redoing the tax code, agreeing to some cuts. My guess is no grand bargain. It's going to be more of an extension of what's there, and maybe another year so that they can get it back into Congress and make some changes. So
we shouldn't panic, but we shouldn't be expecting the best case scenario as well.
I would agree.
Kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, a little closer toward panic than in the middle, just based on previous history, but we'll see.
All right. Well, we, of course, will keep our eye on that. Thank you so much, Jeff, for being here.